This is how you smell things in a scientific lab. You have to waft it. Hey, what's up everyone? It's your girl Weeza and welcome back to my world, and in today's video we're going to talk about everything pumpkin spice. So this here is a pumpkin spice latte, or a PSL, and I made this myself and I share the recipe with you today. So if you're interested in knowing the recipe for my at-home pumpkin spice latte, keep watching. Today we're going to talk about everything pumpkin spice. The science behind pumpkin spice. Is there actually pumpkin in pumpkin spice? What spices and chemicals are in pumpkin spice and what gives it its unique flavor? How about what happens to our body when we physically drink a PSL or pumpkin spice goodie? And I'll let you know if you can truly become addicted to pumpkin spice. So if you're new here, hey, what's up? My name's Weeza. I do beauty and lifestyle videos here on YouTube. A really unique thing about me and my channel is that I use my scientific background to help debunk or give you the simple science behind your favorite beauty and lifestyle products, trends, and innovations to help you understand them better so you can make more informed decisions in the future. If that seems like something that you're interested in, I'll link my previous debunk videos down in the description bar below so you can go ahead and check those out. As well, don't forget to hit that like button so I know that you like these sort of debunk videos, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. So in today's video, I'll talk about all of that fun stuff and give you some light of the secret world of pumpkin spice, as well as I'll share with you this delicious pumpkin spice latte recipe, which is, oh my god, it smells so good. Like, I wish you could smell that. This recipe right here will save you calories, the sugar, and just save your money. Like, we don't have $5 to spend at Starbucks every time we go. So if you're interested in learning about pumpkin spice and everything that you ever need to know about pumpkin spice, then keep watching. Okay, so pumpkin spice, where do I begin? Let's start off with a little bit of history of pumpkin spice. So when I say pumpkin spice, most people think right away Starbucks pumpkin spice latte. And that's where it kind of began. Starbucks were one of the first companies to actually glorify and market pumpkin spice and put them into a coffee. You could say that Starbucks was one of the first major retailers to actually capitalize on pumpkin spice. It was around 2003 where Starbucks physically launched the pumpkin spice latte and the flavor took off. Starbucks has now sold over 200 million pumpkin spice lattes. That's a lot of lattes. I think it's safe to say that in Western culture at least, the pumpkin spice latte has crowned itself the queen of the fall beverages. Pumpkin spice is a combination of spices physically added to pumpkin pies to give it a distinct and unique flavor. Western culture has literally embraced this flavor to the max, putting it into everything from drinks and coffees to baked goods to candles to even alcohols. It's insane. The funny thing is that pumpkin spice doesn't actually contain pumpkin. Pumpkin spice earned its name because it was the spices that were added to pumpkin pies and cakes to give it that distinct flavor. Pumpkins are relatively cheap and they don't have much flavor. If you've ever tasted raw pumpkin, it doesn't taste very good, and pumpkin really absorbs any flavor that you give to it. By adding these certain spices to pumpkin, it gave such a pleasurable experience on the person's tongue that pumpkin spice was born. Companies then began selling cakes and pies and other baked goods using pumpkin spice, and that's kind of when it took off. So there are 5 spices traditionally found in pumpkin spice: cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, clove, and allspice. You may or may not know that pumpkin pie spice also tastes very similar to Indian chai spice. So if you've ever tried to make a PSL at home and added all of these ingredients and spices into your physical coffee, you'll know that it doesn't really taste like the pumpkin spice latte that you get at Starbucks. Instead, it tastes more like a chai tea latte. The ingredients in Indian chai spice are similar to that of pumpkin pie spice, but Indian chai spice has cardamom and different ratios of the 5 spices that I mentioned before. Most of the pumpkin pie spice that we consume through baked goods in our coffee are actually artificially made by flavor chemists. Some flavor chemists can spend years trying to perfect that flavor and that taste just to get it just right. I'll refer to the pumpkin spice that we get in baked goods and other things as commercial pumpkin spice for the purpose of this video. The pumpkin spice made by these flavor chemists are created to provide a consistent yet complete pumpkin spice taste. So that pumpkin spice flavor is consistent, you recognize it, and you know it well. That's why most pumpkin spice things taste similar. Pumpkin spice contains over 300 flavor compounds, which you most likely can't just go buy at the grocery store. Remember, pumpkin spice is supposed to mimic the taste of a pumpkin pie fresh out the oven, not the spices themselves. When you make a pumpkin pie, you have to bake it in the oven for it to heat up, get warm, and get the flavors going. When you apply heat to that pumpkin pie, it changes the chemical composition of those spices, giving you a completely different flavor than what you started with. Flavor chemists are actually able to account for these changes, these chemical changes that happen when you heat up that pumpkin pie to give you that consistent, fresh out of the oven, freshly baked pumpkin pie taste every time. Flavor chemists create something called flavor packs. In flavor packs, it has all of the chemicals and all of the flavors that you need to create a certain flavor. For pumpkin spice, we create a pumpkin spice flavor pack, which has everything that you need, and companies can buy this and use this in their baked goods, in their coffees, in their chocolates, whatever they want to put it in. Commercial pumpkin spice is also loaded with sugar. And no, it doesn't actually contain pumpkin either. Think about it, when you go to Starbucks, you order a PSL, they get your cup, and they literally squirt syrup, which is sugar, syrup is sugar, into your cup, and that gives you your flavor. There's no pumpkin, it's completely loaded and packed with sugar. The even wilder thing is that commercial pumpkin spice contains about 5 to 10% of the flavor compounds in a regular, say, pumpkin pie. Your brain physically gets tricked into thinking that it's having a pumpkin pie, but flavor chemists use key flavor compounds that allow your brain to kind of fill in the gaps for you. Your brain gets tricked. In reality, you're only getting the key flavor notes and your brain is putting the rest together for you. Commercial pumpkin spice can also contain artificial and natural flavors. So let's talk about natural and artificial flavoring. When you're eating something and you read the box and it says contains natural flavoring, you think automatically, oh, this is healthy for me because this has natural flavoring. That's not the case. What does natural flavoring actually mean? And what distinguishes it from, say, an artificial flavor? Well, honestly, not a lot. Keep in mind that your food is made out of hundreds and thousands of chemicals. Each chemical in your food plays a critical role in the appearance, the texture, the taste, the smell, etc. of that food. In order for a chemical or compound to be considered a natural flavor, it needs to come from a living thing. Something like plants, trees, fruit, yeast, etc. Natural flavors come from natural resources. So that original ingredient needs to be found in nature naturally, and then it's purified and extracted and then put back into the food itself. Just because you have a strawberry flavored protein shake that says contains natural ingredients doesn't mean that there's chunks of full fresh strawberries in that protein shake itself. It simply means that there was a chemical which was extracted from a fresh strawberry, say something for flavor or color, that was extracted, purified, and then put back into that protein shake to give it its color, appearance, whatever that chemical was. It's also important to note that when these chemicals are extracted, purified, they are even enhanced in the lab and worked on to make them even better. On the other hand, artificial flavors are completely man-made and completely synthesized in a lab. They're not derived from natural source or living things like the strawberry was for our protein shake. So if I take a look at the FDA website and read what it says about artificial flavors, it says artificial flavors are compounds that aren't made from living things on this list. Insert huge list, blah, blah, blah. Pretty much if your flavor doesn't hit this list, then it's considered artificial. So if your flavor is from a living thing that doesn't meet that FDA list, then it's considered artificial. All this really means is that artificial flavors are literally everything else that's not considered a natural flavor. Confusing? Absolutely. The difference just comes down to the origin of the chemical, whether they were synthetically made in a lab or extracted and purified from a natural source like a strawberry. But keep in mind, most flavors contain more than one flavor compound, so it's more likely than not that you have artificial and natural flavors kind of mixed in each flavor pack, so you're most likely getting a variety of both. And oh yeah, that doesn't include the additives that they add into the spice mix as well. Think Coca-Cola. We don't actually know what makes Coca-Cola taste the way Coca-Cola tastes. It's a trade secret. No one's allowed to know, because if everybody knew, then everybody would be making Coca-Cola. So things like this don't actually need to be on the ingredients list, and companies don't need to share this information. So now you know what natural and artificial flavors really mean, and there's not really a difference, is there? Okay, so Weeza, you talked about these flavor compounds, but what do these flavor compounds actually look like? Flavor compounds are different depending on the spice or the compound itself. There's 5 main spices in pumpkin spice mix, and sometimes we even add vanilla, maple syrup to kind of round out the flavor, but I'll get to that in a second. So cinnamon contains something called cinematic aldehydes. If you ever tasted cinnamon before, you kind of know what it tastes. It kind of gives you like a warm, full body, spicy, yet kind of sweet taste. Next we have nutmeg, and nutmeg contains something called terpenes. Terpenes account for the warm, peppery, kind of spicy kick we get when we have pumpkin spice. In clove and allspice, we have something called eugenols. Eugenols account for that pleasant, nutty, kind of spicy, peppery, hot kick that we get. That's thanks to cloves and allspice. And lastly, we have ginger. Ginger accounts for a compound called zingberine, I think I'm saying that right, and it accounts for that earthy kind of lemony taste, that fresh kind of citrus taste that we get to kind of break up really strong flavors that we get from the other spices, and in turn giving us that pumpkin spice flavor. In a lot of pumpkin spice mixes, we add things like vanilla or maple syrup to kind of sweeten and round off the flavors to kind of give you that fresh, baked out of the oven taste. We have chemicals like vanillin, which is really common and a very used ingredient in a lot of flavor packs. We also have something called cyclotines, which account for like that buttery, caramelly, sweet cookie, freshly baked out of the oven kind of flavor. So what you may have noticed between all of these chemicals and these compounds is that they all have something called a benzene ring in them. A benzene ring is a 6-carbon atom bonded together by alternating single and double bond. Benzene rings are also known as aromatic rings or aromatic compounds. Aromatic here meaning smell, so if something's aromatic, it means that it contains a smell. Aromatic compounds can be found in literally anything from wine, spices, essential oils, your shampoo, everything. So it's the shape of these molecules and distribution of electrons within that molecule which interact with chemicals inside our mouth and our nose to give our food that unique sensation, that unique smell, that taste. Flavor scientists use these types of compounds to create unique flavor packs to resemble the foods that we love and be able to put these flavors into pretty much any food that we want. Okay, so Weeza, tell me, what actually happens to my body when I drink a PSL or a pumpkin spice donut, whatever I'm eating? What happens in my brain? I'll tell you, give me a sec. So very rarely is pumpkin spice put into something savory. Pumpkin spice is usually added to baked goods or something sweet. Our brains love sugar, love sweet. The reason why our brain loves sugar so much is because sugar molecules are small and are able to pass through our brain barrier with little to zero effort. Your neurons or brain cells use sugar to activate, to do things to help your brain work properly. So if it doesn't have to do anything to physically get this sugar, it's happy. It's so happy, it's partying. And that's exactly what it does. Sugar makes our brains extremely happy. In turn, it lights up our brain's reward center, therefore stimulating the production of dopamine, pleasure, feel-good neurotransmitter. And this lets our brain know that we love pumpkin spice because it's turning on our reward center. We got dopamine flowing, we're feeling good. When your brain associates something as good, it wants to consume more and more of it. So exactly that, when you drink your first PSL of the season or your first pumpkin spice donut, your brain now associates it as nutrient-rich, good, stimulates our reward center, pleasurable, sending additional signals to our brain telling us that we need to consume more and more pumpkin spice. Also, we're not obsessed with the way that pumpkin spice tastes. We're also obsessed with the way that pumpkin spice smells. In order to get a full tasting experience that's pleasurable, we need to both taste and smell our food. Think about when you don't like something and you plug your nose and you try to eat it, or you're sick and your nose is plugged. Food doesn't really seem to taste the same, does it? Most of what we taste is what we smell. And your brain is incredible. It has the ability to relay emotions and memories just by smelling something. So when we eat something, the smell goes to a part of your brain called the amygdala. The amygdala is an important part of our brain used for controlling our emotions. The smell of pumpkin spice alone will take us back to a time of holidays like Halloween, Thanksgiving, family gatherings, and just warm baked goods, and make us feel so good inside, so warm and fuzzy. As well, you can't even go onto social media anymore during this time and not see somebody like your favorite influencer or celebrity consuming something pumpkin spice latte, pumpkin spice donut, alcohol, whatever they're doing. You literally can't escape it. You can even be walking down the street or driving in your car and you see a billboard for a PSL Starbucks ad. This then now evokes a new part of your brain. Seeing the ads for pumpkin spice anything now triggers another part of your brain called the cerebral cortex. The cerebral cortex is responsible for past associations. So if you've had pumpkin spice in the past, the second that it sees that, it makes that connection. It's like, hey, we've had pumpkin spice before. We like that. It makes us happy. We need it. Let's go get one, Weeza. Let's go. I think it's needless to say that flavor scientists really hit the jackpot when it comes to pumpkin spice. Okay, Weeza, so cool. Pumpkin spice, got it. But can I become addicted to pumpkin spice? So it's important to know that we associate pumpkin spice with nostalgia. Think everything fall, put into a cup, and we can drink it and consume it and just make our brain happy and just feel good. And of course, our brain wants more feel-good moments like this, so it sends a lot of signals and messages saying, yes, we need this, get it, all of the pumpkin spice, everything, please and thank you, ma'am. Also, pumpkin spice is a seasonal flavor. That means that it's only available for a limited amount of time, a few months out of the year, which in turn makes us humans want that more. Companies like Starbucks have created a high demand for these seasonal drinks, which you can only get in this time frame. So if you don't go now, you're gonna miss it. By creating a demand for these flavors, our brain automatically thinks, I need to have as much as I can before it's gone and I can't get it anymore. It's honestly such a sneaky little game that these companies play on our minds. I also touched base on this point a little bit before, and that is that commercial pumpkin spice has a lot a lot of sugar in it. Your body craves sugar and needs sugar to function properly. However, studies have shown that sugar can be more addictive than some drugs. So the fact that these items are loaded with sugar, you have a limited time frame to get them, and on top of that, we have a nostalgic, feel-good feeling. We really just are outnumbered by the pumpkin spice. And the social influence that the pumpkin spice everything has on us, we literally can't go to Facebook or Instagram without seeing somebody posting something about pumpkin spice something. After taking in those factors, can someone truly be addicted to pumpkin spice? I'd say probably not. You can definitely become addicted to that sugar high that it gives you, that rush. But I truly think that the social media influence combined with the marketing of these companies selling pumpkin spice everything in a limited time frame are truly the culprits to blame for your pumpkin spice addiction. Alright, so that completes the science or debunk portion of this video. We are now going to go to my kitchen to make this beautiful smelling tasty pumpkin spice latte, which is vegan, low sugar, and low calorie to help you save some money, some calories, and some sugar, okay? I got you. So let's head right to my kitchen.
So the first thing we're going to do is actually make our pumpkin spice mix. So I'm just getting a reusable container and putting a funnel in there. I'm adding 3 tablespoons of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of ginger, 2 teaspoons of nutmeg, 1 1/2 teaspoons ground cloves, and another 1 1/2 teaspoons of allspice. Shake all the spices down into the container. Put your lid on and shake it up well to mix it all together. Perfect, there she is. Next we want to get a small saucepan and add 1/2 cup of milk. I'm using almond milk here, you can use whatever you'd like. Add 3 tablespoons of pumpkin puree. And mix it all together. After a few minutes, your milk and pumpkin puree should look like this. Turn off the heat and add the additional ingredients. Next, I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, 1/2 teaspoon of our pumpkin pie mix, and 2 teaspoons of maple syrup. You know I got that Canadian maple syrup here. Mix it up all nice and pour it into your cup. Now we want to just grab our milk frother. If you don't have one, you can skip this step. I like to use it because I feel like it just gives a little added touch to your latte. Lastly, add in your coffee. I'm adding 2 shots of espresso, which I made earlier. And then top it off with some pumpkin spice mix that we made. And there you go. Pumpkin spice latte complete.
Honestly, everything right now seems to be pumpkin spice everything. I even saw pumpkin spice Oreos. Like, what? Maybe it's just me, but I don't want everything in my life to smell like pumpkin or pie. But one thing is for sure, that social media has become a huge accelerant for this whole pumpkin spice craze. Talking about pumpkin spice itself, I don't think that it is a huge harm to us though. It is a very fun thing and it's a seasonal flavor. So it's not around long enough for us to actually have detrimental health effects. Unless you're like stockpiling this and like drinking it all year round, then maybe, but I don't know anybody who does that. For me personally, when I have a pumpkin spice latte, I don't drink it for the coffee. I drink it for the experience. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. And it brings you back to warm memories, makes you feel good, and all of that stuff that we've mentioned in this episode. So let me know, are you a pumpkin spice lover? Do you not like it? What fall flavor do you like? Let me know. Do you think that you're addicted? Like, come on, let me know. So that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching and thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll catch you on my next one. See ya!